know, you could have called us off any time before now, bud. You had a full 7 days, 168 hours to ask, is this stupid bet really worth it? I mean, really? But you didn't. You didn't. And now your dues must be paid, sis. Besides, it's not like you would have let me pull out my side of the bargain, would you? I mean, you'd be the one doing the pulling out, but oh, how the turntables turn. Tables. You'll be lucky if you have enough to stick it in once I'm done with you. I mean, I'm sorry, but you thought my dorky little, oh, you have to be my maid for the day was equivalent to the promise that I'd sleep with you if I lost? And now you're playing this sickly little coward about it? Honestly, what am I to do with you? Did you really think that I would have taken that bet if I didn't know that I could win? With a price that steep? Just how low do you think this sweet chariot swings? Come on! I want to see what our fruity cutie looks like! Everyone knows that you can't be a maid without the proper uniform. I'm talking all the fixings. The frilly lacy dress with the little lacy apron, the little stockings that creep up your thigh, and of course the little garters. Oh, I bet you look absolutely darling. Just so stinking cute. The girls are gonna be all over you. Just not in the way that you'd like. What do you think the wig is for? Think about it. If a boy in a maid dress entered a sorority house, he'd be thought of as a nasty, icky pervert. A sissy crossdresser taking their fetish too far. But if a girl in a maid dress entered a sorority house, then she's just another one of the girls, right? At least, that's what the other girls think. I had to ask, you know. Shared living space and all. Oh, no, don't worry. You're not cleaning up after 20 girls. Just me. Just me. And, well, I suppose it'll be hard for you to figure out which mess is my mess, but I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out, right? You know me. You know me enough to want to know me. You know, biblically. You do know where I spend my time and what I do, and certainly wouldn't be bamboozled into being the brainless little maid for, I don't know, any other bimbo. Yeah, I hear what you say to your little jackass friends. I'm aware that our bond is based entirely on the stupid fucking bit that just because we live 2 blocks away from each other for 19 years, you think this pussy has your name on it. But sometimes I like to pretend there's more. And now there never will be. I'll always be aware that you think of me as nothing more than a sex object. And now I get my chance to make you one. And yet the world keeps on spinning the same as it always has. But hey, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Now what's taking so long? Oh, look at you. You think you're stuck. That's how it's supposed to be. What do you know? Perfect fit. That's where we'd put your curves if you had them. You know, if. but who knows? Ooh! Just one thing missing. You might have the swishy, fluffy petticoat skirt and the apron drawn with a big bow in the back, but without your frilly little maid cap, would you even be a maid? Oh, and we can't forget the heels. A maid can't look any less than her best. You know her conduct reflects back on the house. And we can't have everyone on campus thinking that our maids are as unruly as you'd like to think you'd be. You're all pretty and all pout. If you really had a bite of fight in you, you would have stood your ground. You caved to nothing. You fell for nothing. And now you're mine. I don't know. I'd call this nothing. It's nothing to me, after all. I mean, I'm sure it's everything to you, because you still haven't realized what your role is. You're going to be my useless, helpless little maid, and you are going to like it. You'll have to like it. There's no other choice for you. I mean, just the fact that you let me put it on to begin with just tells me that you've always wanted it. You're just scared. But you gotta wear it if you want to be a good maid. Denying oneself in the name of service for another, even when it aches and pangs with pain, makes you feel sore, makes you yearn for any sign of relief. A good maid is nothing if not strong in her constitution, and as obedient as it takes to be good in order to be considered good. And part of being a good maid means that you have to wear the full uniform for the whole day. If you so much as stumble and lose a heel, that's another day of servitude added to your roster. We agreed on it, don't you remember? Or is it more cloudy in your memory now, that you don't get the chance to salaciously fantasize about the contraptions you wanted to force me into? Now, when you leave my room, and you inevitably encounter one of my sisters, do you remember what you have to say? Well, it wouldn't be very humiliating if you got to stay in my room all day, and I live in a whole house. It'd be an absolute waste. And besides, I heard what your little friends were saying about me. How blessed they'd feel if I happened to find myself in such a predicament in their presence, and how much you had to say on the matter. It wasn't very chivalrous, to say the least, which I find disappointing. We've known each other for most of our lives, and all you have to say is that you wish you could fuck my fat tits. I mean, what the hell is wrong with you? You're lucky that I didn't have any plans to tailgate some frat boys today, because the amount of mercy I feel like putting on display at the thought is severely limited by your behavior, which you've always had full control over. You know, until now, of course. Now, when you leave my room and you see one of my sisters, what do you say? That's right. You curtsy like a good little maid and say, "Miss, your servant has arrived. How may I help you today? And then, I suppose you do whatever she asks you to. Helping her helps me, and you are meant to help me. Remember? You might be inclined to remember how generous I tend to be. I was always so willing to share my toys, and that has never changed. No matter if I'm 9 or 19. And if you were willing to recall, I was also always so thoughtful and considerate and quite intelligent. You always seem to forget that. Now I'm here to help you remember, Maid. How about Nellie? I always liked Nellie. She was my favorite doll. It only makes sense to name my new favorite doll after her. Now, Nellie. Can you go down to the kitchen to fetch me a snack? I have a very important term paper to write on the effects of long-term psychological conditioning and how the use of positive and negative feedback factors into it all. It's just on the other side of the house. So, you know. Get to it!